One of the important things that I hear from talking to customers is that whenever you bring up the term AI, whether it's in the context of healthcare, offering or building a healthcare solution, or it's any other type of industry, is that everybody knows it's out there, meaning that AI is talked about all over the news. Everybody's keep hearing about AI, but the question is, what does that mean to them? And that's the key point I wanted to share with you, whether you are a business owner, whether you are running your own agency as an AI solution provider, um, or maybe you are an AI practitioner, professional designing AI solutions for customers, for different organizations. The most important takeaway that I've learned in my journey with AI is that there's lots of hype, obviously, around the term AI. AI means different things to different people. It starts with the most basics of perception that the virtual robots or the machines are going to take over and take our humans' jobs. And is this a good thing or a bad thing? So it starts by something that is very vague and non-technical, that is based on some perceptions and theories, all the way to, well, AI is nothing new. We've been using AI in the last 20 years. We just used to call it machine learning, and now you call it AI. So when you think about that very wide spectrum, you have to remember that when you talk to customers, or if you're a business decision maker and you're looking at AI solutions, it's very important to define what it is that you're actually looking for, or what it is that you're looking to research on, or what it is that you're looking to grasp. And it starts by having the correct definition. Why? Because it's not just semantics, it's about having the correct address. So if you want to arrive at a certain destination, you want to know the address. You want to know that destination. Where are we going? If you don't have that destination because you may be using the wrong address on the wrong term, or you may be relying on some perception that you know what the address is, but the person that may be driving you to that destination needs to understand what is the address from you as you hop on their airplane, car, whatever vehicle in order to get to your destination. So it's rarely a one person's journey. When you think about the project, an initiative, or anything like that, it takes more than one person to achieve. So I want to distill what AI actually means, and hopefully I was able to explain why you should care, why it's important. It's not just about alignment, level setting, communication, and making sure that you and your counterparts are driving toward the same goal and the same destination, but it's really more than just that. It's really understanding how to cut through the noise, and also how to cut through the hype, focusing on what you care about. Again, whether you are a business owner, business decision maker, whether you are a builder, a software developer, or someone that builds AI solutions, having that as part of your approach is critical to having success on both sides. And that's obviously a win-win. So if we are looking to distill what is really what AI actually means, the best strategy and the one thing that worked for me extremely well is by not using the term AI at all. while having conversations about AI. Let me explain. Um, when I'm talking to a customer, when I'm advising to a startup, when I'm helping other entrepreneurs, AI entrepreneurs, come up with solutions, my first question is always, what is the outcome that we are aiming for? What is the one problem that we are looking to solve? And let's break it down in terms of what does it mean to you in terms of how are we going to be successful? How are we going to measure that success? And how can we make it a very clear yes, no KPI, meaning did we achieve the outcome? Yes, no. It's not we achieved it at maybe, or there shouldn't be a gray area there. So we need to set very clear goals around outcomes from a customer perspective, from business perspective. What are we looking to solve? Is it a resource issue? Is it time constraints? Is it a type of resources? Is it a knowledge constraint that we are looking to solve? Are we looking to increase conversions, exposure, sales leads, extend support to off business hours without adding more staff? All of those are examples of outcomes, but that's just the baseline. So this is where we start from. And then the next step is for each business in each conversation to break down that outcome and KPI, key performance indicators, to a more granular level, meaning that if I have one big milestone, my milestone is I want to gain more clients in my business. Okay. Now the question is, what does it mean to you? Who is your client? What's the ICP of your client? Where does your client live? What language do they speak? What limits you from doing that today, right now? And how can we solve for it using AI as that vehicle? So breaking down those outcomes, or that one big outcome, to smaller chunks where each one of those sub outcomes is a subcomponent of that one big outcome, allows us now to really define what do we need to build. And we also know the why. Why do we need to do that? Because we have the outcome, we have the destination, but we have checkpoints along the way that we need to hit or that we need to achieve, that we know that once we achieve that, gets us closer to the destination, that outcome, that business outcome. So if we know that we have a global organization that needs to extend their availability outside of business hours and to operate multiple languages and support any time zone out there, like 24/7, as I mentioned, and they need to have the ability to provide educated responses to inquiries from their customers. So now I know that we need to, so the big outcome is we want to get new clients to the business, to the organization. The means for that outcome is increasing exposure and availability outside of business hours, outside of a single language, and while enhancing the customer experience by providing knowledge, education, value to the customers around the clock in multiple languages. So now I'm able to set the criteria for what would be considered as successful outcome and how I'm going to utilize AI and what pieces I need to implement in order to get there. So that will be the first piece. From technical perspective, so if you are an architect or if you are a developer or an AI designer or head of AI in your organization, you need to do the same thing. So you need to set the outcomes. You need to break those outcomes by basically sub outcomes or checkpoints. And now, if you are also a product manager, you may want to compare existing tools to potentially a new tool, being AI. So if you're using existing tools, because most businesses already have some tools to perform certain tasks. Now, they may not be performing all of the tasks that are needed in order to achieve the outcome, which is the reason why they are missing that outcome. And that's where we come in with an AI solution. But in most cases, there are some tasks along the way that are covered by existing tools and or resources. So those tools can be human resources, obviously. So that's another form of a tool. It's a human resource, it's not a tool. It's an expensive resource that you need to onboard, you need to train, you need to maintain, and you need to scale. And it's very costly. All of those aspects are very costly. Now, other tools may be some other tools that you may have online that are being used, but with limited results or limited effectiveness because they don't carry a knowledge base, intelligence, they're unable to provide automated answers, and or they don't have the ability to go and trigger an automation of set of tasks due to an inquiry from that is triggering basically a flow by an inquiry from, for example, from a client. So now when you start to break those down, you basically get to a map. I don't want to say roadmap because this is immediate, but you really get the map of what it is that you need to build. Why? What are the alternatives out there? What are they lacking? If they are lacking in certain areas, let's identify what those areas are so that when we build the AI solution, we take all of those into consideration so that we close those gaps, because closing the non-gaps definitely will help us build the right solution for this problem that we are looking to solve or for this business outcome that we are looking to achieve. So those are the building blocks at a high level of how I approach a customer with an AI project or an AI solution as part of really, let's talk about the outcome. What are we here to do? And by the way, yes, the solution is powered by AI, but I don't mind talking about AI, but let's leave that to a separate conversation with the technical team, or after we already mapped what it is that we are looking to solve. So reverse engineering from outcome to development is very important. I would say it's critical for any solution to be effective in solving for the customer's expectations, for your expectations, and gaining win-win where we achieve predefined outcomes. The next component of that is the achievement of the outcome must be measurable. So as part of the solution, so when I'm building AI solutions, we talked about the KPIs, but we also need to be able to measure. We need to be able to measure how effective the solution is against those outcomes or sub-outcomes, those checkpoints that I mentioned earlier, those smaller objectives that by achieving those, we know that we're getting closer to achieving a successful outcome. All of those needs to be measured. So building a dashboard or building the monitoring, tracking capabilities into the solution is really important, not just from analytics perspective, but also just by one, making sure that we are making progress toward that predefined outcome or outcomes, plural. And number two is that we can prove the solution's value to the customer. And by doing so, by the way, when I say the customer, you may be a AI architect working for a large company, and your customer is your manager or the business unit that gave you the task to solve a specific problem, and they're your customer in this case. So you still need to show that you solved their challenge or you solve for an outcome, and having the ability to measure that as part of you delivering the solution is critical. I would not even start to build a solution before I was able to scope how we are going to measure a success. How are we going to measure that what we build is working and delivering on the expectations and the business outcome that was agreed upon with that business unit that came to me and asked me to build the AI solution to solve for their problem. So that's a win-win situation. So that's a win-win whether you are an internal champion or whether you are working with the vendor, and you need to set those expectations with the software development vendor that may be developing the AI solution for you. Or if you are developing the solution in-house, you need to have all of those methodologies as part of how you get to a win-win and elevate your position and basically become a hero in your own organization. So I think that would be a good place to start. And in one of my next videos, feel free to check out my YouTube channel, AiCareXpert, and visit our website, AiCareXpert.com. But in one of my next videos, I will also include some additional deeper dive on the technical side. How do you approach architecting the solution based on business outcomes, reverse engineering, customer requirements, scope, now into the building blocks from a technical perspective of building an AI solution?